You know Mary Tyler Moore?
Oh, very well. We did Night of 1,000 Stars together. Oh, funny story. She has diabetes.
And that was a clip from one of my favorite gay films, Girls Will Be Girls, starring Jack Plotnick. Where are the other two ladies?
W.
No, it's Coco Peru.
Coco Peru, and then the one that eats the can of cheese.
Barla.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is Movies the Podcast. This week we're covering Pride film or gay films in honor of Pride. My name's Rob.
This is Jordan.
This is Brenda.
And this is Curtis.
Save the best gay for last.
Curtis of Anal Bleaching the Podcast.
And our producer extraordinaire.
I'm Rusty.
This is Fran, right?
Fran.
Franiel.
In honor of Pride, Stan has decided to come dressed in drag. And is Fran the producer.
Fran Lebowitz.
I love your shoes, by the way.
I love your tuck.
So that's why that roll of duct tape fell out of his pants.
Oh, that was a roll of duct tape.
That's why RuPaul's Drag Race got canceled. They ran out of duct tape.
They didn't know what to do. Super glue it.
Hot glue gun.
Ooh, crafts.
So
DIY.
This is going to be, not that every episode in the past has been an overtly gay episode, but this is our Pride episode. So we're all excited about being just a little extra gay today.
Yay, gay.
And for those,
Oh, wait, we're supposed to not be so gay.
Well, because the censor said if you were any gayer, they would have to put you on Bravo.
We did get banned in Iowa, by the way.
No, that was New
They
Jersey.
said more
The
Brenda
gov-
to butch it up.
more Brenda to butch it up.
Brenda does bring the testosterone
If
level
Brenda's
up a
balls
little
were
bit.
any bigger, they'd be Rob's.
My Mexican
They'd
balls.
be in Rob's mouth.
Wow. So let's play a little catch up. What's everybody been up to?
Anal bleaching.
Stop trying
You're stealing his story.
No, I'm asking him. Like, I want to hear the story.
there's a
Did
question
you-
mark at the end of
Did
that.
you get it?
No, I won't. Anyways.
You know you can't do that at home with a Q-tip and Clorox.
Now you tell me.
I learned the hard way. I saw it on Pinterest.
What have we been doing?
I am very excited. We saw the other day, we screened as a group Interview with the Vampire.
In the theater.
In the theater on the big screen, which was
forgot.
That's so
amazing.
funny because I don't remember being there.
It's weird that we didn't invite girls.
Boys' night.
Boys night.
Uh,
Boys.
there were girls there. Let's be honest.
Well, that, you know,
There were ladies.
I don't think
There
anybody
were-
knows a lady.
There were broads.
Well, it was we.
I forgot how depressing that movie was.
We have friends who and Jordan's associate, roommate,
my partner.
his partner.
At my law firm.
Yeah.
My partner.
People.
Ass Esquire.
Yeah, people love that movie. Like people just adore. That's their favorite movie, and I hadn't seen it in probably a decade.
It's a beautiful film, and I think it holds up really well. I mean,
I do think it holds up really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, it was like Rob said. It was just it was sad. The
I didn't
vampires were
realize how sad it was. I think I had watched it so often that I either focused on a score or I just really enjoyed a lot of the performances. And this time I was kind of watching it from a perspective. And maybe it's because you had told me you hadn't seen it in 10 years. So I was curious kind of looking at it from that point of view. What would you think of it now? And I just felt really sad the entire time.
Yeah, it definitely had a ton of gay undertones in it.
do you know what makes me sad about it is that Kirsten Dunst peaked.
No, she
In that
didn't.
If you bring up Melancholia, I am throwing you out of this
What
room.
about Bachelorette, sucker?
Oh, I love Bachelorette. What's that line?
Oh, she's like, that's not on the itinerary. And Kirsten
Wait.
Dunst says, reviving a fucked up bitch wasn't on the itinerary.
So Kirsten Dunst is having right now, she's having her end of career Betty White resurgence with Bachelorette.
All good
Because she
things.
peaked 30 years ago with
I know, God, that was 20. That movie
It's
is
20 years old.
20 years old.
Yeah.
It did age well. I think I was mostly, it's not, it's a good movie. It's not a great movie.
It's got some amazing, and you know, and
The
to
sets
think,
are amazing.
and to think that now we've kind of become overwhelmed with the vampire genre. That this movie came out really before that. It was kind of the start of that new romantic, you know, sappy vampire story.
Yeah, they
that
were
it
like
was,
sensual and violent, and they were kind of scary still.
yeah,
I
it was a very
that.
sexual. And I didn't realize Tandy Newton was in it. Helen McCrory. It's an all-star. All these
Why
future
are Rob
stars.
and Brenda on their phones?
They're updating their resumes.
Might need to be.
They got my email.
I saw an older movie that was as a classic. I rented American Beauty, came in Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
And I was really surprised that I still think the performances stand up well, but I think like Annette Bening's obviously perfect in that movie, but I think so many other people have drawn ideas from that well. That it seemed sucked dry. We forget how original that film was when it came out, but then even Alan Ball kind of sucked it dry with 6 Feet Under, which I adore.
Right.
But he kept everyone keeps taking ideas from that film, which makes me sad because it was, like I said, it was like it seemed sucked dry.
It created its own subgenre.
Like when you're watching it, you're thinking, is this meta? Like, but it's so old. It's weird, and it has so many references from Blue Velvet and Sunset Boulevard.
Is it 97?
Oh, God, it must have been 97 or 98 because Annette Bening lost the Oscar to Hilary Swank. But it just made me sad because it is a great movie.
99.
Oh, it is a great movie, but yeah, a lot of those ideas have been taken. I mean, that was, 14 years ago? 15 years ago?
And some really great performances in it.
Wes Bentley.
Allison Janney as well.
Chris Cooper.
Who is amazing. I love Chris Cooper so much in everything that he does. And Kevin Spacey, who
everybody in it.
I love him so much, and I House of Cards is between seasons right now, and just an amazing. Reminded me how an amazing actor he really is.
Yeah.
The two things that I watched recently were I watched the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie with Christy Swanson. It was terrible. No, it does not hold up well at all. And now I hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen it in so long that I'm now a huge fan of the series. And I was reading some trivia about it and how Josh Whedon was so angry that they took the script from him and they completely changed it up, and that he respects Donald Sutherland but hates him because Donald Sutherland refused to read the screenplay as it was and decided to rewrite all of his own dialogue.
Oh, let's not pretend like Joss Whedon's God.
I'm not saying that, but if it's your material, it's your premise.
I know. I still think it's a fun Saturday afternoon movie. It's up there with The Craft, and it's.
Maybe it just doesn't hold up well, but the other movie I finally got around to watching was The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
I was so
The original?
excited.
Well, I've seen the
Hell
original.
no.
I hadn't seen the remake.
Oh, you just now saw the remake.
Oh, I am so pissed that I did not see that in theater. That movie was epic of how beautifully shot it was. On our drive over here, Curtis and I were talking about opening sequences. I didn't realize how meticulous Fincher is with his opening sequences. You look at this one, which was breathtaking. You see the one from Fight Club. You remember the one from Social Network.
Even Panic Room.
Panic Room. That was very Hitchcockian.
Yeah.
What's the other? I don't remember the opening sequence for Seven though.
7? Oh, that had one of the best ones.
Was
where
it
was
like
showing
crime scene photos?
It was how he made the books and how he took his finger tips off, and then like the credit sequence was backwards, and he never did the cat. I mean, he just.
I think I'm at a point where he might have sneaked in there as my favorite director right now, because you and I have been going back and forth, Curtis, about just his body of work is so impressive. So I think anything, I just want to see more of him now. And even though I've seen all of his work,
But you can appreciate it at a different way.
I can, definitely
Well,
appreciate
he's
it.
like, it's like box office with a lot of brains. And Christopher Nolan's box office with a lot of brains, but Christopher Nolan is getting to be like, come on, let's do something else. But I think David Fincher, every single thing is different.
Christopher Nolan, for me, is falling into that Wes Anderson, where this is what they can do, and they do it well, but they're not stepping outside that comfort zone.
This is my universe, let me put new characters in.
Yeah.
But no,
Or not even new characters.
Just change their names.
Right.
I'm just glad you watched Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, because I literally,
I
that's
want to
one of
see
my
it again,
favorite
and I
movies.
think
Yeah.
now that I've seen it, I'd like to see it with you just to kind of pick it apart. And the score, we're going to cover scores more in depth in the future episode, but that score was just beautiful. That was my catch up, and I'm glad that I finally saw that movie.
Me too.
Well, unlike that interview with a vampire screening, I guess I'm invited. I finally watched the original Footloose, which I can't believe I'd never
I've
seen
never
before.
seen it.
This is why you don't get invited, because you watch Footloose. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I've never seen the original Footloose either.
But you gotta cut loose.
No, Brenda told me she was watching it, and I was really excited because I actually love Footloose.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't seen the remake, so I can't speak on it. But what's it called? It was weird to see like Christopher Penn, or in the movie he's credited as Christopher Penn, but Chris Penn, young and skinny. And all those, the soundtrack is so iconic. Even if you haven't seen the film, like all the songs, so it's funny to see all the scenes that they're incorporated into.
Unless you're Romeo and Michelle, who just don't know the lyrics of that song.
I don't know the lyrics to that song. I know the first line, and that's it.
I don't think anyone knows the lyrics to
good.
it.
There's actual lyrics.
Slap on your Sunday shoes.
Kenny Loggins doesn't know the
Dude.
lyrics to it.
Yeah, Rob's been watching that movie since he was a little boy in Mexico.
Oh, we're gonna bring that up again.
That was weeks ago, Rob.
And you're still asking for my papers.
And you still haven't brought us a copy of your social security card.
Rob, it's always got to be somebody.
HR needs it. I'm sorry.
Peg in HR said,
Peg
if
is-
Rob does not bring this in.
She's texting me right now.
Rob's texting. Rob, are you on Scruff?
No.
Jane's listening now. So, anyways, I know I need to watch Footloose. Footloose is. I have this list of movies that I pretend that I've seen so people would shut up, like Rushmore, or there was a movie I just saw that was on that list and I finally watched it. But sometimes I just tell people, oh yeah, I saw it, I didn't like it, or oh, I saw it, yeah, it was okay. Footloose is one I've never seen, and I tell people I've never seen it. Like, I'm not trying to pretend that I've seen it. But now I kind of
Like you were with Oh Brother Where Art Thou?
I pretended for so long I saw that
It's a
movie.
good movie.
For years, I'm telling people like, "Oh yeah, I saw that. Saving Private Ryan. That was great. Oh yeah, I like that. I like the scene with the
With the clown.
military." What other one? Munich. Munich. I had to pretend I saw. I finally have seen these films, but Footloose I do need.
There's
to
only
watch.
so many times you can see Munich. I mean, romantic comedies
It's
just
so
get-
good.
They get so old after a while.
Munich's an excellent film.
Excellent.
Is everybody caught up? I don't want to cut anybody off this time like I did last
Oh my
time.
God! What
We
is
gotta
this?
invite Brenda to more shit.
I told you not to. Oh wait.
You can come to my bar mitzvah next week.
Your bar mitzvah times 3 to the third power.
This is why I don't invite you, because you say shit like
If
that.
you guys are gonna invite me, I'm gonna give you a reason.
Ooh! She's coming alive. I like it.
You're so sassy. Don't sneeze.
It rubs off of you 3.
I hope you never start.
Don't rub off on us.
You know what? If she ever starts
gonna give
selling
us straight.
Cincy, I'm not buying any of that shit. I'll buy some freaking Febreze.
So today's topic is, in honor of Pride, which in Houston will be June 29th, in the middle of the summer. What is it? Really?
Well, for those of you in Iowa, it's Gay Pride,
Oh, Gay Pride. We're just so used to just
What
calling
other
it
pride is there?
Lion Pride, Prides of Lion.
Straight Pride. Fran.
Immigrant pride.
Pegs in HR, Rob.
I don't see sexual orientation.
What?
yeah.
I see
No,
conquest.
he's from Pennsylvania.
I like how when we asked about straight pride, even though I'm straight, we all looked at Stan.
You're a girl. You're a minority.
You're a hag. You're an honorary member of the community.
Yes, she is. As many times that we've hung out. Remember that one time at Blur?
You're gonna have to be more specific.
Yeah. Were we sober? Yeah.
So in honor of Gay Pride, we the homework to everybody here was to pick their favorite gay film that they like. Let's start off with Curtis.
Oh, you mother. I get
It's
confused. It is Footloose, and I love that. I took some notes on this because when people ask me this
When I
question-
sent that homework out like weeks ago.
Bitch, you didn't send any homework. Do we
Not to be a
have some-
teacher's pet, but I'm ready if you would like to go to me.
You know what? Let's go to Brenda since
No,
she's ready.
now I'm going.
No.
No.
Race war.
I had to come with 3. I guess if there'd be it's
Don't
a
we
comedy. What did you
Moving along.
Okay, it's a comedy, a drama, and then a true crime film. But I'm a cheerleader. I'm gonna have to go with as the top of the 3. I think it's just anybody should.
I love that movie so much.
Yeah,
RuPaul's in it.
yeah. RuPaul's playing a man,
And Eddie Cibrian.
I want to like that movie.
I want to like Eddie Cibrian all over.
No, the movie's hysterical, and I think it doesn't try to get too deep, but just that there is a message behind it that you can't choose who you love, and I think it was really effective.
That's a gay movie that has a happy ending, unlike many others.
Oh yeah.
Drama I had to pick Mysterious Skin.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, it's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
When he looks like a twink, a cracked out twink.
Exactly. And it takes like heavy subject matter, and the film is just it's stunning, and I love Greg Araki. I'm probably butchering his last name, but he's a great director, and I love that film. I even went out. I didn't realize that it was a book, but I went out and bought the book, and I love it's one of the few times that I can say the book and the movie are equally good.
Oh wow!
One day I'll challenge you on that greatness of Araki.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. One day.
Yeah,
we'll have to
there's
get
only
into that.
one movie he's made that's great.
And you do
Mysterious
not
Skin.
Yeah, Mysterious Skin is an excellent film.
Yeah. Third one, and I'm glad our straight friend Stan brought this movie up.
He's Fran today.
He's Fran. I'm sorry.
She prefers to be called Fran.
Shim. Fran.
Even in our community, that's offensive.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, please. When have we not said offensive things about anybody? Yes, shamam. And I said it.
It would have to be Party Monster.
Yes.
I was so it's
Hold
funny
on,
to say
Brenda.
that-
Brenda, you're welcome.
Thank you. It's actually before the film came out. I actually used to watch E! True Hollywood Story. There was one, they did one on it. And they interviewed
Used
some.
to.
They still
Do
air
they
it.
still make it? Is E still on the air? Anyways, there was an E! True Hollywood Story about the whole situation. They interviewed the author of the book, which was at the time called Disco Bloodbath, but they've now changed it to Party Monster. So as soon as they came out and I saw that the two principals were Macaulay Culkin and Seth Green, I was so excited about it.
Oh,
And-
me too. Yeah.
And kind of the same reason, like weeks ago, I was talking about Pain and Gain. Even though it's a true crime, it's still funny.
Weeks
It's it looks fabulous, that world, and you can see how the destruction of this person and all these characters moving, and it seems like a lot of fun, but at the same time, you realize that this actually happened to people. So
I think that movie, for me, Party Monster, I think I had such high expectations that it let me down when I first saw it. But in subsequent viewings, it's actually gotten better for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cheap movie. You can tell, even watching it now. But the story's good. And the acting's good. Some people would talk bad about Macaulay Culkin in it, but he perfectly plays
it's
that
really
kind of
effective.
femme, just... Because people think he's being a caricature of gay, but Michael Alec
really
acted
is
yeah,
like that.
how it
yeah.
is.
If you've seen interviews with Michael Alec, he nailed it. I think.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm ready to revisit that movie. I love the soundtrack, love it. And when we get into soundtracks and music,
Weeks
and film,
from now,
one of the things is that soundtrack is what introduced me to Scissor Sisters, and it's just changed my life. And to me, that's how I get into music, is through soundtracks, and I love that soundtrack to that film.
No, and I love that. Like I said, like when I heard it was Macaulay Culkin and Seth Green, that would not be the first. If I was a casting director, those won't be the first two actors that would like pop in my head. But they totally killed it, and I love it when that happens.
It's taking a chance. It might not have worked initially. Like the buzz behind the film was more interesting than the film itself, but now I like it a lot now. Curtis, are you ready, or do you want her to kind of stretch it out some more?
Thank you.
Curtis copied off my paper.
I did. I was looking at her notes. High Art was a really good one, too. But I'd look over. I have to say, for anyone that's listening that maybe doesn't know a lot of gay movies or needs maybe the history of gay movies, The Celluloid Closet is a really good documentary. It stops at like 95, and honey, a lot has changed since then. It would be nice to see it updated. But for me,
Like a revisit, that would be cool.
yeah, because it's a really interesting, and there's so many good movies on there that I'm just going to quickly reference. Some of them, like The Boys in the Band or Cruising.
That's on my list,
or,
Boys in the Band.
Like, oh, you've never seen The Boys in the
No,
Band?
I've seen
Oh,
it. That's on my
I
my
love that
list
film.
of movies that I love.
For me, I have to choose an older one called The Children's Hour with Shirley MacLaine and Audrey Hepburn. It's not really a gay movie, but
It is a gay
movie.
It's a coded gay movie.
And it's not even coded. Towards the end, she's really saying, I feel this way. But it's a story about two single teachers. One is engaged, the Audrey Hepburn character, and a malicious student lies and says they're lesbians. Of course, they don't say they're lesbians. They whisper and say something inappropriate, but they don't actually say they're lesbians, and their whole world falls apart because of one line, one rumor from a child. It's still a powerful, powerful film. I wonder if it's just that way for gay people, to see that self-loathing.
But that, when Celluloid Closet came out, and Boys in the Band, the documentary Boys in the Band, Making Boys in the Band, talks about how a gay character, then was written to be so self-deprecating, and you sympathize with them because you felt that angst that they were going through. But now it's very different. It's you see a lot of the gay films that are being put out now. There's more celebration, but there's also more. It's not. How do I put this? We all have our roots of where we came from, and I feel that gay films now are exploiting
sex.
And it's just there's more quality stories that can come out of this.
I really think, and gay people used to protest, like I talk about Basic Instinct a lot. They used to protest these movies that nowadays there were more interesting gay depictions than not. I would rather a gay person be the villain and serial killer than the dying hero, or to me it just seems more interesting.
It shows more diversity.
I know, and I know that's weird to say, but I am a gay person and I can say that's what I'd prefer. I would prefer.
It took you this long to come out?
28.
I'm so proud of you.
At 28.
Coming out at the top. So anyways, but what I think is...
What was that, Jordan?
Stop in the...
Did my eyebrows make noise? I'm sorry.
They hit the room. But to me, it is true. Now I like it when a story isn't about being gay. And Beginners to me was a great... we were just talking about this the other night. A great soft film about love, modern love to me. And his dad just happens to be gay, and he gets to see his dad fall in love for the first time. And whether that's with a man or falling in love with a woman for the first time at 80, I just thought it was a tender movie that wasn't about being gay. This is just a gay character, and this is what's happening. And he doesn't die of AIDS or anything. He dies, but that's not a spoiler. So I really did like that movie. And then I actually will steal from Brenda's because I, too, really liked High Art. And I know that is kind of a depressing film as well. But I think, yet again, it's not about being gay. It's not about being... straight. It's not about being the main character, Ali Sheedy, who gives an amazing performance. She's a drug addict artist who kind of attracts this woman who's attracted to her passion and her talent, and I just thought that's so much more interesting than two girls going scissor style.
And the other character, not to give too much away, it doesn't really show her struggling. Oh, what's going on? She just kind of goes with what she's feeling.
Yeah, and I adore that because it just feels so natural. And I don't mind if a gay movie's sad or happy or violent or this or that or exploitative. I just it's getting annoying where Rob's saying it's all we can sell to gay men is sex.
And it's unfortunate,
and
but
unrequited love.
There's a lot of quality films that have been coming out from gay cinema, and I'm going to reference the Kids Are All Right because I felt that film showing the normal struggles of a gay couple. It wasn't they weren't over the top plots or anything. It was just these are two people that in a loving relationship you go through rough patches, you go through these difficult times in your life, and you make it work. You figure out a way, considering your family, considering the sacrifices you've already put into it, you're going to do the best you can. And I resounded a lot with that film. Brokeback Mountain's another one that it's not on my list. My list my favorite keeps it more fluff, but Brokeback Mountain is not fluffer. I didn't pick that one.
I actually own that film. I got it in the $3.99 bin at a Blockbuster closing sale.
The Montrose Blockbuster.
It was all sticky.
Sticky.
But Brokeback Mountain, it's just it's unrequited love that you have in that film, but
what love?
They
loved each other so much.
Ang Lee did he shot it in such a poetic way that it beautiful film, and the imagery in that, the last shot of holding his shirt and then it just pans out to it just gets me, and I love it, and I love that from a straight director. Love knew no bounds there. It wasn't about being gay or straight. It was just about you find someone, you love them, and you do everything you can to try to be with them. And unfortunately, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen Brokeback Mountain by now,
they don't end up together.
They don't end up together, but it's a great film.
What I like about that film, and this is the difference, maybe this is because it was made by a straight filmmaker, this is what doesn't make it a gay movie. They show the point of view of the wives, what the wives go through about my spouse is cheating on me, whereas the Michelle Williams character cannot deal with the cheating, whether he's gay or straight. She can't deal with that cheating and she leaves him. The Anne Hathaway character stays with it for the money and the appearances. She deals with it in her own way, and I thought a gay movie just would have seen these men as just trying to love each other, but they're hurting people too. They're cheating on their spouses, and it shows that. And I think that's what tears me up now, but that's what broke my heart about that film and made that movie better is just that reaction shot of Michelle Williams when she sees them kissing, that changes the movie completely and says, this isn't just a gay movie about two people. They're being selfish and there are other people in this movie. It made it just so much bigger to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows, it gives a complexity
Mm-hmm.
because they're not only are they kind of struggling with it, and it has also to do with the times and like where they live and whatnot. But then, exactly like you said, they show the other people that are affected by it.
And that's a lot.
And I do want to go slightly deeper into something. I mean, hopefully somebody has a suggestion of a film, because Brokeback Mountain seems like an obvious film to select, and I'm really happy that we were able to break it down a little further, because you're right. It's not a film that's just gay. There's more going on in that film. Mm-hmm. So does anybody have a recommendation or something that they feel that goes? It's not maybe a standard gay film.
I don't know if like you guys can disagree with me, but maybe something like Milk.
Disagree.
No, I think it's more about.
You mean that Oscar-winning film?
Yes, I think more the point were just about like his struggles and his rise in in politics and everything. I really think it's more about him and the person and like who he affects around him, as opposed to
And it is a more hopeful theme, even though it is about an assassination, but I feel it ends on a really positive note, and it ends on a very hopeful note. I cry every time I see it.
I cry the second the movie starts.
And
When you start
it's
seeing all those
just-
gay people getting arrested, I do. I just I can't imagine.
And I think it was a good movie to come out when it did, and to really kind of show this new generation of gay people coming up that it hasn't always been Glee on TV and tons of gay
It's
people
so true,
everywhere.
yeah.
And I have nieces that are in grade school and high school right now who have openly gay friends, and when I was in high school, 62
you were the
years
openly
ago,
gay friend.
I was the only. I was
In your segregated school?
in my. I was
Gays
in
and
my
chicks.
little Amish one-room schoolhouse, but there was no internet. There was no gays on. There were no gays.
computers.
There were no computers.
They threw
But
rocks.
that idea that there would be just out gay kids running for student council was it such an alien thing? And
But
I think it's good for those movies to kind of remind us of that.
It's fantastic that the generation that your nieces are, that they have gotten so comfortable with people that are gay that to them it's nothing. It doesn't matter. So just imagine how that's going to evolve the next generation of politicians, the next generation of people that are going to be working.
We're going to start being the ones that everything gets blamed on. That's the thing. They accept you, and they're like, oh, it's their fault.
But I had one point that I want to kind of touch into that about
Get in there.
how it's how for some people it's difficult. I don't know if you guys have seen the film Small Town Gay Bar, produced by Kevin Smith. It's
So good.
It's a excellent documentary about these different gay bars that are in rural America, right by the Bible Belt. That you have the clientele that drive miles out of their way just to be somewhere where they're comfortable with other people like them, and it's a poignant little documentary. I can't recommend it enough because it shows that for a generation, for certain people that in this day and age are still they're so afraid of being who they are in their natural surroundings or their surroundings that they have to go so far out to just feel comfortable, feel like themselves. And there's this one person in the film that talks about how Monday through Friday I'm this person, but on Saturday and Sunday I am me. I am who I am, and I think it's a great movie, and that's a film that makes me proud of the gay cinema.
Is there any not to steer the ship, but is there a gay filmmaker that you think has transcended being a gay filmmaker, like a woman filmmaker or a black filmmaker? Like, is there a gay filmmaker who they're just a great filmmaker and they don't?
Isn't Gus Van Sant?
Gus Van Sant, yeah.
Exactly.
I think Kimberly Pierce.
Oh, I wasn't saying because I don't think there is one. I just who is.
I think Kimberly Pierce. I think she needs to build up her resume a little bit more. But I
3
like her
movies
films.
in 15 years.
Yeah, like I said, maybe just so you get more of an idea of her voice. But I like the films she's made.
Yeah, me too.
No, I think it's fantastic when filmmakers like that, Gus Van Sant, Kimberly Pierce, they step outside of something that is near and dear to their heart, and they said, I want to be challenged by the material. I want to be challenged by cinema. And they take that chance. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But, I respect a filmmaker, like going back to Ang Lee. I think for a director who isn't gay to understand that world and to know, but his films are all over the place. He has such an eclectic resume. Any other films that you guys recommend?
I love that, I guess it came out kind of in a time where we were having like so many parodies, but another gay movie.
Oh, I think that movie's hilarious.
Yes.
I think it's hysterical. It's like a parody of those parodies, but with like a gay twist on it. I think that was hysterical.
I'm a big fan of comedy, and some of my favorites were "Girls Will Be Girls," which is the clip that we started off with. It's three actors playing drag queens, 3 actors playing the female roles in this film, and they're clearly drag queens, but they're treated as female roles in the film, and it's just one zinger after another, and I love that movie so much. One movie that I guess isn't considered gay, which kind of lead us into my next question is, for me, Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion is one of my gayest favorite films ever. I know it's not an outright gay film, but
Oh no, it's gay.
It's pretty good.
It's gay. Janine Garofalo and Alan Cumming in one place.
you just need Parker Posey in there.
Oh, that's right.
I think I just jizzed.
2 Parker, 2 Posey.
You can't be too Parker, too Posey.
So my question to you guys, just to kind of, but before I get to that question, any other films that you guys want to, or Jordan?
One of my favorite films is I Love You, Philip Morris.
It's a Houston movie.
Which is a Houston film, and it's a true story. It's true crime, and a Houston
you
film.
seen it?
We're bringing it all together.
It's very good.
It's an
It's very
incredible
good.
movie. Jim Carrey and Ewan McGregor, and Jim Carrey, who I really love, and I think he's sometimes one of the most underrated actors out there, because when he brings a performance in for a landing, he really does it right. And for those of you who haven't seen it, it's a true story about 2 men who meet in prison in Texas, and one's a con artist, Jim Carrey plays, and it's this madcap, very funny, endearing, sad, but it's ultimately just really heartwarming story about these 2 men and their travails over the course of their relationship, and that's one I really enjoy, and that's a movie that every time I see it, it just makes me happy. And
I actually want to see it again. I've only seen it once.
we need to
Is
take a
Ewan
look at it
McGregor
again.
like one of the most underrated actors doing
Yes.
interesting
For
work
sure.
nowadays?
You just
He-
bought The Impossible, and he was phenomenal. in
Yeah,
that.
The Impossible, Beginners, this. I mean,
Big Fish. And,
yeah, I feel like he's always doing
love him.
subtle work.
Oh, you haven't seen Salmon Fish in the Yemen?
No, you
He
saw
is
that.
fantastic in that movie.
I think he's been good in everything.
But he's
that
picking like
done.
interesting. I mean, yes, he did.
It's
It's like you're Nicole Kidman. She's been picking interesting roles.
Yeah.
But let me ask my question, because we're getting down to the wire here. Ewan McGregor being an actor who has been fearless about playing whatever, gay or straight, but what movies do you guys like that are straight, or I'm sorry, they're not gay but can be very homoerotic? Like we talked about Interview with the Vampire, how that movie had a lot of
Any
gay
Tom Cruise
overtones.
film is homoerotic.
I think we were Fran and I were talking before we went on air about Top Gun, which is really, really one of my favorite movies. I hate to admit, but it really is very homoerotic, and it's.
I
Are you serious? It's such a. It's like the original bromance. It is, and there's so much in that military, like, super testosterone, super masculine. Like the romantic lead is Kelly McGillis swinging her big dick everywhere.
That's
you know,
right.
Yeah, it's like it is.
What does she say? Take me home or leave me forever?
No, that's Meg Ryan with who says that? Take me home or lose me forever.
Nuh-uh, she runs up to him and he's on the bike, and Kelly McGillis runs up to Tom
Well, she says
Cruise.
it because Meg Ryan says it earlier in the film,
mother-
but Meg
That's all
Ryan
I've seen.
once
You can tell how
again.
much
Meg
I've-
Ryan ruins everything. But sorry,
We almost
Meg.
bought you the women the other day.
Sorry,
We did. It was a 4-pack.
I wish my face could translate.
Women, Sex and the City 2, and Yaya Sisterhood.
You know what though? Side note: Yaya Sisterhood, very good book, really shitty movie.
My nana loves that movie.
The book is amazing, but the movie is horrible.
the,
but
the film that I wanted to pick for that one was Point Break.
Is it? Catherine Bigelow got that.
Oh, there's a lot of gay overtones in that movie.
Really?
The climax of the film, like, which okay, I won't spoil it.
Oh, yes, don't spoil an 80s movie for us.
I've never seen it.
It's good.
Really?
it's so it's like so 1990. It's
do
just
either
like
of you guys have a film that you feel it's
Well, come on, Death Becomes Her is one of the gayest films of all time. And I don't know why it's not on Criterion, and I don't say that jokingly. I don't.
No, seriously, I've
it's
seen
not even
that
on
movie
Blu-ray.
Maybe 974
That
times.
and The Witches of Eastwick, put me on a
Definitely.
deserted island
With a strap on.
for myself. And but Death Becomes Her definitely, because you know when you're a kid you don't catch all the
I
lines
was
in that.
thinking that movie earlier too. Oh, never
I
mind. I'm not
see
going to mention
me.
where I was thinking about it.
Why?
The podcast
Moving
weeks
on.
ago.
So anyway, yeah. So Death Becomes Her for me. I mean, yeah, it's pretty gay.
You know, I was actually looking on the Daily Beast, and they have the top homoerotic movies, unintentionally homoerotic movies, and Point Break is number 5 on the
What's
list.
number 1?
Number 1 is sorry, 300.
Oh,
That's a big
yes.
jump.
Why do straight guys like that?
I
Stan?
watched it on mute.
Or, no, Fran.
Fran, why do you love 300 so much?
It's bloody.
It's like there's
It's
more
it
tits
represents semen.
than a chicken farm.
I'll throw mine in really quick.
I honestly, just rewind. I have the feeling that the people who really like that movie are just sitting at home having a case of Miller Lite, going "America" the entire time. That
No,
movie plays.
my sister-in-law listens to our podcast. Hi, Lisa. My brother loves this movie, and I don't get it. Like, it's so gay.
Lost Boys.
Lost Boys.
Oh my god.
Is it?
Yes.
I haven't.
But what's yours, Brendan? What's yours?
Being the horror fan I am, I hadn't watched the sequel until, maybe like a year ago, but Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
Yes.
I'd actually read an article, and that's what got my attention. And apparently there was a debate for years whether the screenwriter did that intentionally, give it all the homoerotic undertones, and apparently it was on purpose. But it's funny to see that now. Like it totally should be considered a gay movie.
If you watch, there's a 7-hour, I think it's 7-hour, maybe 5-hour documentary about the Nightmare on Elm Street films from the beginning. It's one of the best documentaries you'll ever see. It's called Never Sleep Again. It goes from start to beginning, and it gets deep into these movies. Like, you'll get more information, and when they start talking about 2, that's exactly what they said. The writer said it was a gay coming out story. And you watch it with that, it makes it better, because the second one's pretty the worst of them.
Yeah.
And with knowing that, it kind of gives it a tint that makes it a more interesting movie. But yeah, it's beyond, it's gay overtone. I mean, literally, there's a man coming out of him. It's weird. It's wonderful.
I want to mention one last movie before we start wrapping up. I don't know how many of you guys have seen this one. It's Paul Dano's first film with Brian Cox, L.I.E. I like it a lot.
Stir His Skin.
Pretty much
The
that.
prequel.
Nobody picked it.
I can't believe that. I thought somebody was going to.
Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
I was laughed at in the pre-brief when I brought that up. and
What's
I-
a pre-brief?
Are you thinking of...
That's
I
what I, want
heard,
before
I
I
heard
put.
somebody bring it up. I'm surprised nobody brought it up during the podcast.
Bring it on.
It's one of my favorite films.
Well, I mean,
Priscilla, Queen
it
of
goes
the
without
Desert.
saying. I mean, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert is an amazing film.
I do want to throw out, though, because we were talking about a lot of gay and lesbian themes, and Priscilla kind of brings up the point of the transgendered experience in films. And, of course, Boys Don't Cry is a really powerful movie.
Harrowing film.
But I want to really do a shout-out for Transamerica, which
Transamerica was excellent.
was an excellent film, and it's very mainstream, and Felicity Huffman does an amazing job and really treats that character with a lot of respect.
Yeah,
and I think
I
and
agree.
there's some, it's not the best movie, and there's some choices that were made that I would not have made, but
Mavion Rose.
but it's
The little boy.
I love Movie and Rose.
There's some good train movies. So I think it's like gay movies. It's a little behind on what
No,
we're
there's a
sharing.
lot of good ones, and I'd like to put it out to you, listeners. When we post this episode, if you guys want to post on our Facebook some of your favorite gay films and why you love these movies, there's a lot of great. Like he just mentioned, Movie and Rose, and I was going to mention Notes on a Scandal, like that one.
That's how I want my gay characters villainous.
If you have not seen Notes on a Scandal,
The Spanish film Bear Cub.
oh, that's
Oh,
really,
that's
yeah. I mean,
such a cute
there's
movie.
Does The Skin I Live In count as a gay movie?
Spoiler alert.
It's a trans movie. Oh.
you and your freaking spoilers. But I do want to put it to our listeners to, once this episode goes live, post some of your favorite gay films, in honor of a Gay Pride Month, with Pride this year falling on Saturday, June 29th. Hopefully you guys have a lot of fun. Be safe.
We'll be out there.
Curtis will be out there
In my
handing
booty
out,
shorts.
uh,
Consent forms.
he was just selling consent forms with lube and condoms.
Fake IDs.
And the other thing that Brenda was kind enough to remind me is, after, once you guys post about your favorite gay films, why you love them, also let us know what you want to hear, what topics you want us to discuss, anything you want to know about us, about what we love. Curtis will go more into his anal bleaching at that point if you like.
I've never
can
done it.
Step by step.
I know.
But
Stain by stain.
This is Movies the Podcast, and this is our Pride episode. This is Rob.
This is Jordan.
This is Curtis.
This is Brenda.
Franiel.
And Fran, happy Pride.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.